just ought to have a hard day. He's Freddie Wehbe. He'll be with us in just a moment. Going to be a special show with a very special announcement. Boy, you're going to love this, folks. He's agreed to hold this till tonight. This is going to be an opportunity for you to score something big. Freddie will join us in just a second. Tonight on the program, Franz Beard's teeing it up, talking about his book he's got coming out on the basketball team and latest news on the injury front. It's good. It's good news for a change. Glad to hear that the guys with the non-contact jerseys took them off today and went back at it. So that's a very positive thing. And then also we've got Lauren Meadows standing by. He'll be joining the program. And Ben Troop, Gentle Ben, will be on the show, all coming your way tonight. And Freddie's agreed to buy us all around right here. Oh, I guess we can't do that. We're not there. Freddie, how you doing?
Great. How are you, buddy?
Doing great. We're going to play the open here, and we're going to come back and get you going and talk about what your announcement is going to be, which I'm very excited about. So,
very good.
Yes, it's time again for Buddy Martin. Call him up and tell him what you're thinking. But be kind because he's doing the best he can.
Better, stronger, faster.
Mama says that alligators are ornery because they got all them teeth but no toothbrush.
Hey, what if the voice calls while you're gone?
Take a message.
Bye!
You ready, champ?
I'm ready for this my whole life.
I'm incapable of small talk. But that's why you love me, right?
Kind of intimidating to be in the presence of so many great athletes.
Good evening and welcome to the show along with Freddie Wehbe on Buddy Martin on the Buddy Martin Show. It's a Thursday night. That means we got our usual lineup of suspects, including the aforementioned. I'll say good evening to Freddie. Freddie's smiling. And who is that guy smiling over your right shoulder, Freddie? Your left for us.
That's our national championship coach, Todd Golden.
That's one of James Bates's better ones, isn't it?
James has done a good job. He has 20 of those now hanging in this room.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how many people want to see him every day. But figured why not talk Gator basketball since we're champions and got a great coach. And I know you have a book that one of your guys is writing up very soon. And can't wait till the season starts.
We're full of good news tonight. It's always good to have good news. And that is the report out of the practice today was that the non-contact jerseys came off all those guys, which is good. We thought we had a bunch of injuries. They were very temporary, but, we panicked this time of year, especially because of I don't know if you say the Paul Castover Gator Nation last year about the injury to Lagway, worried about him. And now you get news that some of these really great wide receivers, what Ben Troop affectionately calls a Wilson & Wilson law firm, that were injured, both of them, and we were concerned about it. But apparently they're back at it. That's a good thing.
It is a good thing, and I think we're due for some good news. And let's face it, a lot of people are getting injured across the country and college and NFL. It happens, and luck always plays a big role at the end. And hopefully, we'll be okay when the season starts and we play our 4 tough games in the middle of the season.
That's a great point you just made there. And I did some research. And I have a few good contacts of people who really know their stuff in the medical field. I know nothing. I would never venture. And I just ran it by them. And I said, is this something that is caused by the strength conditioning program, like some people say it is? And he said, absolutely not. And everybody I talked to said, it's just the law of averages, and luck is part of it. So tonight, not so lucky for Anthony Richardson. I can't get the game on the NFL channel, but I heard earlier that AR went down with an injured hand. Man, oh man, this guy can't catch a break. And Freddie, this is what worries Gator fans. Is DJ Lagway going to be Anthony Richardson, or is he going to be who? Is he going to be able to play? That's the key. And he looks a little fragile, but You're around these guys a lot, Freddie. You don't tell everything you know. You have a lot of information. What can you share with us about how you feel like how you feel like Billy is this year compared to last? There seems to be a certain confidence there.
I mean, that's the name of the game, right? At the end, you have to think that you can win. We saw with Coach Spurrier. He made his team believe that he can win. I think Billy's doing it in a different way, but his team believes they can win. They're confident. He's confident. You could see it in his vibe, but he's a man of few words, and he's a man of one at a time, and he's going to play it game by game. And at the end of the season, we're either going to celebrate or we're going to be screaming again, just like we did at the beginning of last year. I'm bullish on football. I see what they're building. I see the talent. I see the chemistry. Those are the things you cannot lose with. And then hopefully he gets lucky with some injuries, a couple breaks here or there. And, we could have easily won 2 extra games last year if we got the breaks. We did not. Maybe we do this year. Maybe we don't. Time will tell, and we'll react accordingly.
Yeah, well, just thought, and I want to move on to your important announcement and there are a lot of new people on here that don't know all about you or me or us, but the thousands almost, and I want to be sure and reintroduce you to folks what you do and talk about the restaurant and about what's coming up on Monday night, which is another thing you guys do, a great charity, and let's do that. But let's make sure that we frame this right. Tell people this is a Buddy Martin show. We're on here 5 nights a week, usually during the football season. We have terrific sponsors and terrific guests, and we have terrific audience. And I just want to say, I got to say this because my mentor, Freddie Wehbe, says I do a poor job at this, and he's right. I got to tell you about our little boutique, our place where you can go and get information and stories and writing. Cannot get anyplace else. And it's called GatorBaitMedia.com. And there's a lot of different pricing, but the big thing is, but Brendan tells me, my president says we have a lot of deals going on there right now where you can get discounts. And I know Freddie doesn't like to give discounts, but this is what we do sometimes. So check it out. You'll see some fine writing. You'll see some excellent pictures. We just hired a new photographer today to shoot practice. And of course, about Franz Beard. Now we've got other terrific writers. Alan Barney's a new one from Ocala. He does a terrific job, and several others. So check us out. Give us a chance. You go on and you'll see some stories, and we love to have your comments. If you think you'd like to subscribe, come on and join us for the football season. I think you'll be glad you did. It's as low as $9.99 a month. If you want to go for the whole year, it's $100. So check it out. See why we are proud to say we've been doing this a while, and GatorBaitMedia.com is your home for all Gator sports, especially football. Did I do okay, Freddie?
You did great. Good job, buddy.
Thank you. Now we have a couple thousand on here now. And by the way, these are like billboards. These people are just people say, well, what is that? Well, you have all these stats. When you go down the highway, there's lots of billboards. You see them. You don't always stop and order a hamburger, but you see them. And I'm proud to say that through our producers, done a tremendous job of bolstering our audience. We're never going to be big, but we've been getting quite a few people watching, listening, and folks join us. And Freddie, I want you to tell folks about your special announcement. Folks, this is one of the coolest things ever done. And I appreciate Freddie Wehbe announcing this on behalf of our sponsor and his friend. What in the world are you doing giving this stuff away come Tennessee weekend?
Tennessee weekend, football weekend is also that Friday night, November 21st, we play Merrimack in the O'Connell Center. Our basketball team does the night before the Tennessee football game. So that's a great weekend for fans to come up to Gainesville. You got to watch some basketball. You got to watch some good football. Hopefully we beat the Vols on November 22nd. But on the 21st, every person coming to the game, and thanks to Jeffrey Meldon and Meldon Law, will be provided a nice gift of a Replica National Championship ring. Every person attending the Merrimack game will receive on the way in a replica of the national championship ring.
Every person?
Every person. 11,000 rings that we made, sponsored by Meldon Law again. We know what Meldon Law does for Gator Nation and how much they support the University of Florida, and this is their gift back to Gator fans. So for the Merrimack game, if you attend, and I highly suggest go get your ticket today before it sells out, you'll receive an exact replica of the championship ring that the players will be receiving here very shortly.
Let me get this straight. You're giving away replica rings to everybody who comes to the Merrimack game. That could be 10,000, Freddie.
There's 11,000 rings.
Really?
Yes.
So, and you just can't get these any other way, huh?
That's the only place you can get them.
Wow.
Every fan attending the game, that's in cooperation with the UAA and their marketing team. This has been in the works for a long time. And through the partnership with Meldon Law, everyone will receive a box, and inside that box will be an amazing replica of the national championship ring that you can cherish and hang in your room and put on your shelf and remember what a great season.
It's a real ring.
Basketball
It's a real
season.
ring. It's a real ring, but it's
Yeah.
a replica of the championship.
That's correct.
Wow, that's awesome. I got to make sure I go to that Merrimack game, man. That's cool. Great stuff.
I
All
got
right,
my
so
tickets.
There you go. And I don't want to rush you, but I also don't want to miss the opportunity to get everything in that we got to get in. And that is including, I said this last night on the show. I know this sounds like all hype and commercials, and it's not that, believe me. You know this. I've been with you since you started this thing. You remember so when you started the restaurant, I gave you my 2 cents worth for a few items here and there. Some were good, some were not. But I feel like I've got a little piece of that because
You do.
I watched it grow up, and now you're doing some really great things with it. I said last night on the show, it's a weapon for the University of Florida to have that place when you got 150 recruits in there and they're eating those great steaks and the HBC walks in the front door. I mean, that is as good as it gets. And it's a terrific restaurant, and the food is outstanding. You know how I feel about it. It's just my favorite place, and I can't get over what a great job you've done on that. I will not always going to be this nice to you, Freddie, because sometimes you give me a hard time. But tonight, I'm going to be really nice to you because you're amazing at what you've done. And thank you.
Thank you, buddy. It's a teamwork. We have over 100 team members on the staff that work every day, just like any successful team. Chemistry, just be nice to people, provide great food, and truly it's about the legacy of Coach Spurrier too, and not just a place where his name is on it. He's here, he visits, it's his museum. There's over 120 items in the museum today. If you're a Gator fan, this is where you see every SEC championship ring, every national championship ring, every game ball, trophies, not just from Coach Spurrier. Shane Matthews, SEC Player of the Year, both his trophies are here. His bust from the Florida-Georgia game is here. Mike Peterson bust is here. Danny Werfel's 5 trophies are here. Coach Spurrier's Heisman is here. I mean, there's a lot that you can come and observe. And if you haven't been in here to the restaurant, you don't even have to eat. Just come visit the museum. Thousands of people do so. And we're honored to be a legacy place for Gator Nation, for fans across the globe. And for game day, we see thousands of people to just walk in and walk out, and it's pretty cool. It's a cool thing.
Very good. All right. And also, gosh, don't you think you could have a little place someplace for those writers who helped make Coach Spurrier famous? Well, maybe one of these days we'll get that. We'll see how that goes. Yeah, Coach Spurrier is obviously a great asset for us all. All right, so let's talk for just a minute about Monday night and what you're doing. It is for charity. If you have not been, if you want to go up there, this is your night, and you can buy your ticket and you're online if you hurry, and you can eat with the big guys, and you can see with this museum. Tell them about it, Freddie.
We're celebrating 4 years, buddy, and we're honored to do so. In an industry that's struggling and places are shutting down every day, we continue to bloom. And we continue to celebrate, and we're going to celebrate with our fans and our guests and our raving fans. And Coach Spurrier and Miss Jerry will be here, along with a bunch of other Gators. And it's going to be another great night at Spurrier's. We typically are closed on Mondays. Mondays is our cleaning day and our touch-up day, but we're open this day, and we give it back to the community. And we chose the Ronald McDonald House this year and provide the proceeds to them, and that they do a great job, and we're honored to do so. It's a night of charity, a night of community, a night of great food. We'll have a buffet, some of our most popular items, a prime rib carving station, a dessert station, shrimp and grits station, short rib risotto station, and we'll have a variety of our foods and celebrate with hundreds of our raving fans.
Yeah, thanks, Brendan, for putting those pictures up here. The food and the menu and what have you. There it is. I'm getting.
Thank you, Brandon.
Yeah.
The events from 4 p.m. until 9 p.m. We do have some availabilities. If you go click on the website, you can buy a ticket and show up, or you can come sit on the bar if you like. We have availabilities between 4 and 5 p.m. and after 8 p.m. right now. We're pretty booked between 5 and 8 p.m.
Everybody I've talked to, I asked how their experience was. I have not had one negative person. So you're batting 1,000. So it's let's bring this guy on real fast. Let him. Coach Spurrier is known for his celebrating. He loves to celebrate victories and celebrate occasions, and we're doing that tonight. And let's bring this guy in because pretty soon he's going to have something to celebrate that we're all going to be proud of. It's going to be fun and something. This guy right here, Franz Beard, got a book coming out soon. Say good evening to Freddie.
Good evening. And let me add something to what Freddie just said. The worst thing I ever ate at Spurrier's was really, really good. I mean, I've never eaten anything there that I didn't go away thinking, man, I don't think anybody in Gainesville or in the surrounding area can touch it. And I think you guys are like the 4th or 5th most profitable restaurant in the entire East Coast. Is that true?
We're in the top 5 of revenues, yes. On some weeks, we're probably in the top 10 overall, yes.
Amazing. It's folks, I got to tell you what, I was in there for the Tony Barnhart event, and I've been in there a bunch of times, but every time I go in there, I see something new that makes you happy that you're a Gator. I got to tell you what, Georgia doesn't have anything close to this. Alabama for all, what have they got? 117 national championships. They can't touch.
But South Carolina might one day. You never know about Coach. He likes to expand. We'll see. Never know about that. In the final minutes, Freddie, tell me about your son. I'd like to know a little more about it. He's got some interest in playing ball. Is it okay to talk about him? Is that against the rules?
He's making his decision. He's enjoying it. He's a senior this year.
Right.
And we visited several places. We'll see. We'll hear in a couple of weeks what his choice is. I can't wait. We're letting him make the decision. It's his call, and we're going to support him wherever he goes. And it's going to be a great year.
He's a junior, rising senior. Where at Buchholz?
Oak Hall School.
Okay, Oak Hall, yeah. And so, and then he's a tackle, right? Or offensive lineman.
He's a tackle. Yep.
How big is he?
He's 6'3.5" right now.
And the weight?
Close to 300.
Okay, he sounds like he needs to be a Gator. So let's see how it goes. Good luck. All right.
Just
All right. So one more time, real quick. Go over the deal on the rings, real quick, and go over the deal on Monday night again, so people got it from Freddie Wehbe, the horse's mouth. All 3,500 people want to know.
So November 21st against Merrimack. If you do attend the game, in partnership with the Florida Gators and Meldon Law, you will receive a replica of the national championship ring, and it's a beautiful ring. I saw it yesterday. The players will receive it, I think, in a couple weeks, and then the fans will receive it on that game. It's the night before Tennessee, so if you're a Gator fan and you don't live in the area, this is the weekend to travel. It's the week before Thanksgiving. It's a holiday the following week. It's Merrimack Friday night, and it's Tennessee football on Saturday night. And then on Monday, we celebrate 4 years with a lot of you raving fans and Coach Spurrier, and a lot of Gators will be in the house between 4 and 9 p.m. We do have some tickets still available. Go to spurriers.com. Most of the proceeds will go to Ronald McDonald House. And thank you for the opportunity to speak about these two great things.
And thank you, Freddie. And just in case, there's a little corner of the world up there the weekend of the big Merrimack game. And we'll have a book available by then, written by this guy. And maybe we can put something together. You never know.
I can spy a contest with a ring and a friend's book, and
Wow.
someone wins it, and we donate the money to charity. Well, that would
Oh,
be
boy.
the best win we can have.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Oh,
Well, we're all
wow.
for that. And thank you again for everything you do. Appreciate it. You get a lot of praise on here from Tommy Seal and all the gang about it. Thank you, Freddie, for everything you do and for supporting his program as well.
Thank you, and
Jerry Spurrier always tells me, and it's true. She says, "Freddie, oh, he's a genius," and I gotta
Well, we
it's
know
go Gators. How about that?
That sounds good to me, buddy. Thank you so much. All right.
Thank you.
All right. We'll take a minute here and talk about the client we just discussed, somebody that's special to us. We appreciate very much, and that's Jeffrey Meldon and Meldon Law. They make a lot of things happen. And Freddie is, of course, handles and manages his advertising. And Jeffrey's a great person. He's coming back from Europe. I know friends talked to him over in, I think, Portugal. And this, without getting into the book too much, he'll be showing up as one of the fans in the book who's had a great ride with this mulligan. So save that till then, friends, and we'll talk about it. Excuse me. Let me get some water here. And coming up soon, we'll talk more about that. Now, friends, today on the program, I want to talk about luck a little bit. And luck is something that's a big part of everything, including injuries. And the word is good now tonight on the injury front compared to what it sounded like 48 hours. And you said that at the time. Talk about the injuries and the non-contact jerseys that came off today.
Well, here's the thing is, if you're going to have injuries, let them be nicks and bang-ups and things like that. And this is the time of the year to get them. And Florida's got jerseys, the non-contact jerseys are coming off. And the injuries we're getting, they're not the kind that are debilitating. We're not seeing ACLs. We're not seeing, torn meniscus, things like that. We're seeing the kind of stuff that's going to make you miss 3 or 4 practices, but those are the kind you can live through. And the good news about it is, buddy, it's particularly in the wide receiver room. Vernell Brown getting extra reps. Nashawn Montgomery getting extra reps. Tank Hawkins, TJ getting extra reps in there. J. Michael Sturdivant, from what I understand, I've had multiple people tell me this is becoming a go-to guy for DJ Lagway. They just have some sort of a chemistry that has evolved. And, you look at this stuff. Injuries, there's another side to injuries. Some of them, if you get a debilitating one, yeah, we can understand what happens then. But the smaller injuries that keep you out a few days, they give other people reps. And this is a time of year when getting reps.
We talked about this some earlier. Sometimes injury is not a bad thing. Look at the case of Kyle Trask. We might never have known what a great player he was. Although apparently you haven't found out that in Tampa yet because they couldn't get another quarterback. But anyway, Trask had a magnificent season transition. And he stepped into that role there and he was ready. That's one thing I want to say about Billy. He pretty much had Lagway ready when the time came. I mean, as much as you could, not expecting that injury to take place. And the merch thing, which was covered nicely in the next Netflix thing. So Billy gets his people ready for all the criticism he gets. Give him credit for that. And the other thing I want to say, friends, and we talked about this, is it's not just a one-man band there. It's not just DJ Lagway. These guys are really good. Now, I don't know how it translates to winning, but as Nick Saban says, don't always focus on the outcome, on the process. Right now, the process looks like a beautiful thing.
Well, exactly. And the idea now is you cannot lose a national championship or an SEC championship in August when you can, you can affect what happens in later on in the months afterward, but you're not going to lose the championship in this month. This is the month you're getting ready. And too many people focus in on all the bad things that can happen in preseason camp. And they don't focus in on some of the good stuff that can happen. As you pointed out, Kyle Trask, by being so diligent in August when Felipe Franks went down, talk about a guy who was ready. I remember that Kentucky game like in 2018. I can remember it like it was yesterday.
Yeah, sitting right there when it happened.
And Kyle Trask came off the bench. And then what the next week, everybody said, well, okay, it was Kentucky. He got lucky. And the next week, you remember that? We come off, playing Auburn, first game, first play of the game. He drops back. There's Freddie Swain from North Marion, one of your guys. You love him. Freddie Swain on a crossing route, hits him, boom, 60-something yards. And this is a guy that was made for the moment. But the moments are made in August. That's when they count. Off season, then you get to August, and that's when it counts. And Billy does get his guys ready. I got to tell you what, the more I see of how he's built this roster, homegrown talent, not so many transfers, I really like the Gators. And you know something, buddy? More than one person, you've heard me, I've been very critical of all the transfers. And I've said it, a dozen times on this show. The only one who seems to figure out how to do it is Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin seems to have a magical touch when it comes to making transfers work. I don't know how or why or whatever, but he does it. I haven't seen anybody else who's relied heavily on transfers have much success.
You know what the maximum number of transfers have been on a national championship team? I saw this stat the other day.
7, I think.
9. There was once, I don't know what team it was. 9 is the most any national champions ever had as transfers. And there's something about the permanency of growing your own when you can't. So, that's certainly big. Now, we got just a minute in between. We're going to have Laurel join us in just a moment. Ben Troop's going to be here. Take a minute to talk about, I want to talk about you for a second and this forward we're writing for the book. And I just want to say, you and I have been down the dusty trail of the SEC a lot of years, a lot of times, a lot of places. And you are an extraordinary reporter and writer. People would not begin to believe what Francis' background is. We'll have a piece on that in the book, that he was a teacher in Asia, that he came up in Macomb, Mississippi as a 14-year-old genius. He bounced around different, but he knew Dean Smith personally. He covered the ACC back then when he was winning those championships, and Norman Sloan was at NC State. He's been part of a tremendous staff at the Miami News. Picked great writers. I know them all. And now he's been in Gator Country and then 247, and now he belongs to us. And he's writing some good stuff. His book's coming out. I know he's going to be proud of it. It'll be out sometime this fall. Friends, we're just glad to have you and share a little bit of light. We got about a minute to talk about what this book means to you and how you love basketball.
Well, I'll start with how I love basketball. I think I've come a long way from a guy that Garney Hatt said was probably the worst defensive player he ever had. I could shoot a basketball. You can ask any of my old teammates. They can say, oh, yeah, he can light it up. My problem was if you put me in and I scored 20, I was going to give up 30. I was a terrible defensive player. But my mind was willing. My feet were not cooperative. But I got there and, I guess you could really say that the love affair with basketball started. I'm at the Wilmington Star News in Wilmington, North Carolina, and I get to cover my first ACC basketball. And back in that day, Dean Smith was barely older than what Todd Golden is right now, and really starting to win. And people were starting to figure out this is a guy that just 4 or 5 years before had been hanged in effigy on the Carolina campus. And he's a guy that never wavered in his belief that you got to do things the right way, first time, every time. And I learned so much from Dean Smith. It's unbelievable. One of my, my most favorite basketball moment of all, watching Dick Tomlinson score 44 points against Tampa, and then the night before, a few nights later, Florida is playing a basketball game. It's the day after Christmas, and Dick Tomlinson walk me into the old Florida gym, all because I'm a 13-year-old kid, and talk about hero worship. 12-year-old kid at the time, hero worship. I went running up to him, and this guy was my hero, and it solidified my own love affair with the Gators, which began when I'm 9 and watching Florida Georgia Tech football. The Gators beat Georgia Tech 18-17. But things like that have made me into a lifetime Gator. And as I told somebody today, somebody said, "You're a Gator," and my stock answer has always been the same thing. Why would somebody who's got a reasonable amount of intelligence be something else?
And you're an old Gator, not this guy here is not as old as you, but he goes back far and he has a great passion for this team, his school. Good evening to Ben Troop. How are you, Ben?
Always good to sit back and just listen to friends talk about that. Listen, if you owe friends money, he know how much you owe him and when he gave it to you. So don't think he don't remember. He just because he ain't calling you out, he can tell you what you had on, what you ate before, and what you drove. He don't know what you're driving now. But no, I think that what Friends is I know that what Friends is doing is what enough of us, whether you cover the Gators, play for the Gators, we don't do enough. People always say, "Hey man, why don't we know the stories?" Because we don't tell them. We can blame the current crop of players for not knowing. Yeah, they know Tim Tebow. Yeah, they know Danny Warfel. Shane Matthews walking the building. You should know him too, right? It's certain players that paved the way for so many other players. My first time ever seeing Florida play was the Florida-Georgia game. I want to say it was like 99 or 98. Aaron Kinney caught a pass against Georgia, and they stood him up right there on the goal. Like he could have scored it, but it was so hot that it looked like sweat was coming off the cameras. And I was like, this game seems futuristic. It don't even seem real. And, I couldn't even dream that big. When people started saying, man, I couldn't even so. And when I was fast enough to run track, when I was 11, 12 years old and running AAU track, and first time I didn't even know they had summer track. I made it to the Nationals. The only time I made it was at the University of Florida. And the only reason why I remembered was 5 years later when I enrolled there, I went to the O-Dome, and I was like, dude, I'd have been here before. I was like, wait a minute, man. You trying to tell me guy gave me a 5-year, listen, I'm going to take you there 5 years before. But like I do agree with what Fran said.
Yeah.
I don't knock the other schools. I don't, they do what they do. But any reasonable common sense can count to 10, understand real life. You would not pick anybody over Florida, not because you think there is something better than Florida, because there isn't. Yeah. You just say to yourself, man, Florida is that me. I always describe Florida the same way. You at your favorite restaurant, friends, and buddy, and you order something, but you know that meal that come out and it's sizzling when it comes out. You like, hey, what's that? Like, I know what I order, but to me, that's Florida every time. It's a sizzle and a steak, and like I said, I'm looking forward to reading. I'm looking forward to reading our friend's book just because. And you know this, buddy. When you blessed enough to write your books, man, you got to channel all them old memories going, oh man, I
Well,
forgot about that
you're
one.
an author. You already been an author. You've already been an author.
Ben knows he's
Ben's
got to read my book because I read his.
Yeah, he's got a book now. Everybody's getting. I guess Lauren will be next, but now I just want to say that we all had that moment when the first time we knew this was something we wanted more than to be just a passing deal. And mine was about age 12, and I went to Florida Field to see the Gators play. My family took me up there, and I saw a big old guy named Rick Caceres. He was a great kicker, among other things. And friends, you don't go back this far, but way back in the day, before the full-size Gator Swamp was built, on the north end zone, there was a Coca-Cola sign on the side. And the only guy I ever saw kicking the ball over the Coca-Cola sign was Rick Caceres. In pre and warm-ups, he sat there and just nailed those body. His leg was like thunder. And I watched that team play. That was their first bowl team. And I saw a guy named Bobby Lance, a quarterback later on, who wore low-cut shoes. In high school, we didn't have low-cut shoes. Got to wear low-cut shoes and the White Sox, and that was going to be me as an Ocala Wildcat. I was going to wear those white laces and those low-cut shoes. It wasn't white shoes because we weren't there yet. And that's how I fell in love with the Gators, and we all have our stories. Let's go see what this guy's story is. He's got a few. He's been around. He fell in love with the Gators without even being here.
Yeah. I fell in love with the Gators the day they lost. First SEC championship game. My man Shane, unfortunately, threw that pick to Antonio Langham. But that day, and since then, I've just been a Gator fan. Parents are from West Virginia, so wasn't really raised a Buckeye fan, even though I grew up in Ohio. And that day in the rain there in Birmingham, that was the day.
Yeah, we'll all have that day for sure. Well, Lauren, just jump in here. We just were talking about some good news today, Ben, too, that the injured players, quote unquote, came back. We don't know much information. And you go out there a good bit, you know what it's like. You don't get much. You get to watch them for 10 minutes, and all you got is who's in a non-contact jersey. Well, all those guys that were in it, including the law firm of Wilson and Wilson, which Ben named them, they were out of non-contact, and Pup Howard and his mother. So good news on that front.
Yeah, no doubt. Speaks to the training staff and the work they've been doing behind the scenes. And, sometime you can, because you know what you have in guys like Wilson and Ba and Pup Howard, you can bring them back a little slower, allow them to rest, let them just get mentally engaged into 2 days and not worry about as much as the physical. But I think because Billy Napier has that army of staff members, but he also has someone who's almost dedicated to putting a program of return to play in place. I think that's one of the things you can kind of give Coach Napier kudos for, because that's been a major part of it. And you can go back to even when Lagway, an injury like a hamstring, could have been a 2 to 3 week injury, being able to get him back in a week. So, I'm sure that was a key part. But yeah, great to get those guys back. I mean, obviously, I think they got a couple mulligans early. No offense to Long Island or South Florida. So you can bring those guys, hopefully they play a quarter or two and then get off the field, get some rest, continue to rehab. But with what they have available, it's easier to get guys back, but I'm glad they're back, and hopefully they can just take it easy, because you know what you got in those guys. I mean, you're not going to have Trey Wilson fight for a position, and fighting for minutes. Jaden Ba doesn't need to fight for carries. I mean, they know what they have. A guy like Pup Howard doesn't have to fight for snaps. So, you let those guys continue to ease in, take it easy, manage their tick a little bit, and I think they'll be in good shape. Long way to go. But the season really starts for Florida that third weekend in Baton Rouge. And, it's almost like two kind of preseason games, hopefully for the Gators. Not always been the case, but hopefully they can ease in.
Friends, what's been, I asked your friends your favorite thing you heard. Like, go ahead, about the camp. Go ahead.
Well, what I was going to say was we, and I mentioned it earlier, what we overlook is the fact that when you can afford to let your first string guys, a Dallas Wilson, et cetera, like that, take a few days off. Now that doesn't mean that they're just going to be sitting around eating bonbons
Right.
and sucking on popsicles on the sideline. They put in the physical work to work while they're out. But it's going to give valuable reps to these younger guys who wouldn't get them otherwise, so that in the event somebody does get hurt, you got a guy steps in and he's ready to go because he's had the chance to earn the trust of your quarterback and your lineman. Those are the 6 guys that gotta have you, that have to trust you. Those 5 offensive linemen and that quarterback, they got to trust you more than anybody else. And so these are these opportunities that these young guys get to earn the trust of the guys that matter the most on that field.
We've had a whole bunch of talk about the offense, a little about the defense. But I got to tell you, I think one of the strengths we have not talked about, these edge rushers are going to be awesome for Florida.
Oh.
They can do some damage, man.
Absolutely. I'm trying my best not to talk about LJ McCray like everybody else
Ooh,
has.
my word.
But I think that's what you want. That's, you have a sign of a really, really good team when arguably that, which could be your best group, is not being talked about as much. But I know the injury situation, for when it comes to these guys like Dallas, like Trey, like Manziel, like Ball, and those guys, I know it dominates the headlines. Football, we still got some time before football is back, but it's what we talk about every week. You got to have depth so that when somebody goes down, the next guy is ready. And I think the D-line, dare I say, we always talk about the DBs and how they got to be able to cover one-on-one. They got to be able to track the ball. We talk about the linebackers making sure they get guys lined up. We talk about the O-line being the most experienced group. We talk about what we got in running back. We talk about what we got to receive. We talk about what we got to tight end and quarterback. The D-line might be the most talented group we have. And I say that humbly because we got it in all phases. And there ain't a team in the country not named Florida LJ McCray wouldn't be starting for. He would be starting. But you got so much depth, he understands. And I'm just looking forward to watching that D-line get after guys because, like I say, when your front 4 is doing it, that means your back 7 don't got the blitz. They can just go back. They can just go out there and do what they do. But I'm
be a lot better because of that. You're right. The other day, Ben and Lauren, they said in the press conference they've got 7 guys to play on the front 4. 7.
That's a good problem to have. That's SEC football. You look at last year what Ole Miss was able to do when they had 7 to 8 guys. That they could count on, basically led the nation in sacks going, I think, up until the last couple of weeks of the season. So, the ability to create havoc, to run them in waves. And what I like is everybody that runs out looks the same on that edge. They're all, one might be a little leaner or something, but they all look like good dudes. Big dudes. And that's what I'm saying. They all look like lean, sick 'em type dudes. And that's the thing. When you look at a program that really over the last 2.5 years has struggled to get off the field on third down, if this edge group can raise their level of play, and guys like Caleb Banks and Jamari Lyons can get push up the middle, which they were able to do the last 4 to 5 games, this is an offense that you're going to see more turnovers, you're going to see more big hits, and it's just going to create havoc. But yeah, a great problem to have. If you got 7 guys, now you're starting to look back at, you guys are familiar with it, the Spurrier era, the Urban era, even the Muschamp era. Even though they couldn't score, they did have some guys that could get after you up front, and you're going to have that. So, 7 guys, 7 deep, great problem to have. It's right there for Florida. They just got to go out and make it happen.
Remember, buddy, we're in Scottsdale, Arizona, and you asked me the day before the game with Ohio State, you said, "Why do you keep insisting that Florida is going to win
I
and
did
win
say
big,
that. Yes, I did say that.
win big?" And I said, and I relayed to you what Greg Madison had told me. Greg Madison said, "Our guy Stephen Harris, you know how that big voice is." He said, "He's going to hit that All-American center back so far, he's probably going to get 3 sacks by himself." Well, he didn't sack the quarterback 3 times, but he did make it possible for our guys on the edge to get those sacks. We had
Yep.
7 sacks that game.
Yep.
And and on the biggest play of the game, he knocked the center back so far that
Yeah.
Troy Smith has to take 2 steps farther back to hand the ball off. And Brandon Seiler and Brandon Sykes and Ray McDonald, they meet the running back, stop him on 4th down. The key play of the game, Ohio State knew it was over then. I mean, Ohio State fans were literally in tears. They had never seen their team stopped on 4th and 1. But it all happened because of that push up the middle. And if the guys in the middle, if Boyru and Jamari Lyons and Caleb Banks can get that job done straight up the middle, Florida is going to be monstrous on
Yeah,
defense.
you know, Lawrence never going to let me live that down. You know that I said to him, and I thought he was going to, and he's right. And I did, in fact, get up out of my bed at 2:00 in the morning. I'd already had my pick in, and I went and changed it. And he convinced me, and he was right. And the thing about Franz is he may be a Gator homer, which many of us are. But the fact is, he knows how to judge.
Yeah, he comes with it with the facts, and I knew Ohio State was in trouble because I had coached against some of those guys that were at Ohio State, and I knew as good as they weren't as good as the guys at Florida. And the last conversation I had with a young man who's been on your show, Kurt Coleman, played 10 years in the NFL. Played nickel in that game. My last words to him were, "What you guys got a plan for Percy Harvin?" And his words to me was, "Oh, we not worried about him." And I knew Ohio State.
You know,
I knew Ohio State was in trouble. Right,
they ain't seen him. They ain't seen him
yet. And I also knew that a couple Ohio State players, they were kind of hanging out in Scottsdale, having a good time. And you know, Urban had those guys locked in, ready to roll. You can't go nowhere. Curfew's in. You better not, and you better be ready. And I knew Ohio State.
And he manufactured a bunch of stories on the bulletin board.
Oh, I'm sure.
Made them up. That's documented. It's in the book about how you made these stories up. Yeah.
I'm sitting by Mark McLeod in there, and Florida's first, the Gators give up a touchdown on the kickoff thanks to a nice clip on Reggie Nelson, which freed up Ted Ginn. Reggie Nelson nails him at the 22, if not for the clip. That didn't get called conveniently. But on the first offensive play, I looked at the Ohio State secondary, and I said to Mark McLeod, said they'll never cover the Gators. They're playing their safeties 30 yards off the line. And that's because they knew damn good and well they didn't have anybody in that secondary that could match Florida's speed. If Florida had wanted to, Dallas Baker could have caught 20 passes in that game for 200 yards.
Yeah. All right, guys, we got about maybe 5-6 minutes. I'm going to give you each a minute and a half. I want you to pick a subject or a player that maybe hasn't been talked about, because in the end, you have to have some luck on injuries. You have to find somebody who we've not mentioned the name of some of the players that are going to show up. We know that. And I'm going to talk about one that is showing up. We have known, but Cormani McClain is becoming quite the success story to become a major force in the secondary, which is where they need it. And I'm expecting, if everything goes well, he continues on his program. He's building body mass. He's got great speed. He's been very aggressive. I think he could be a big, big factor, Ben. Who you got?
You know what? I'm not even going to go with a player. I'm gonna go with what I think this team they've shown a lot of poise, right? Because obviously nowadays you're gonna get a lot of people saying a lot about when it comes to Florida land. They saying the most obvious thing in the world, like if DJ Lagway goes down, if every starting quarterback goes down for any team, I mean, this is not things you got to pull out. Like people go, what? But I will say this though. Every snap DJ Lagway had to take, and the backups have, which means they've developed that continuity when you talk about them receivers. And like I mentioned, this Florida team understands that. Look, there are no excuses now because we got them. We got everything we need from top to bottom. Now it is going to come down to how we handle it. But it's so many people have something to say about Florida, and it's always, if they don't do this, if they don't do that, and somebody said, yeah, but y'all said this about 2024. Yeah, we did, but it's how did that end up? So I think that for this team, I'm gonna keep going with poise. And like I said, I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing it, but we coming in talking about guys like McClain, who we got a chip on. Every player on this team got a chip on their shoulder. But when it's all said and done, that 2016, you know who led them in tackles? It was not Brandon Seiler. It was not Brandon Spikes. It was Earl Everett. He led the team in tackles that year, right? And I'm telling you, it's going to be that type of team. It might not be a big name dude, but he's going to have a big game. I'm looking forward to see this team have that type of success this year.
Sometimes without a helmet, I might add.
Oh yeah. He said going into that game, he asked Coach Strong, why don't you let me blitz more? He said, because we need you in the pass game. He said, but when it comes to Troy Smith, if he break loose, he said, if he break loose, I got him. Obviously, he ain't got no helmet on when he got him, but he had it. He had it.
All right, now I'm going to throw this in there, guys, real fast. And I'm coming back to Lauren to talk about his key or something. I want to talk about this Titan MRI. I'm not going to do their usual spot tonight. That they have 3 locations to serve you, and 2 in Gainesville, soon Ocala. This is the 7th anniversary, gold anniversary of Titan MRI, and you have a chance to win off of this. And Freddie Wehbe is giving away $100 gift certificates. You can see the information there on how you can award them and celebrate 7 incredible years serving our community. We're giving away 7 gift cards to Spurger's Ground Grill, and there's how to enter right there, and you can take part in that. Titan MRI is been one of our fine sponsors. They do a terrific job, especially if you like those larger cages for MRIs. They're more comfortable. They can make you a special appointment. If you can check them out, they got several locations to serve you. Titan MRI. All right, now let's go back to the question of the day, the time, the thing, the player that maybe that stands out for you, Lauren, and see what that difference that's going to make in his team.
Well, I mean, to kind of keep the theme of the defensive line, I'm gonna go with the pride of Olympia High School in Orlando, Florida. My man Cameron James. Even though he's been mentioned and that kind of thing, but people talk about Gums, they talk about Sapp, talk about L.J. McCray, Banks, Jamari Lyons, but I think Cameron James is really ready to take the next step. Did a great job in the weight room in the offseason. I think he's somebody, has some versatility, 6'6", 272 pounds, can play inside, can play outside. When they get into some of those creeper packages on 3rd and long where they go a little light so they can get after people, I think Cam James, with the long arms and the ability to disrupt, if he doesn't get to the quarterback, get his hands up and deflect passes. And I think Cameron James is somebody, I've gotten to know him a little bit outside of the football arena, and just a good young man. And I think that, he's going to find his way to be a key player, not just a role player, but somebody who you can count on 3rd downs and even, short downs or anything, just be ready to go. So I say Cameron James will be that guy.
Billy raved about him the other day, saying he's like a starter, and he's having one great camp apparently. So, Franz, I know you got a couple you want to talk about.
Well, I'm going to start with a guy named Damian George Jr., and here's why I'm starting with him. I think it took him until the last half of the season last year to finally figure out if he's going to have a future, it was going to have to be at guard. I think he came to Florida to play tackle. They tried to convince him at Alabama If you'll stay here and play guard, you'll be in the NFL. And he wasn't having any of it. He came here and Billy said, okay, I'll try you at tackle. But if it doesn't work, you're going to move inside. Well, he moved inside. I thought he had in 2023 when he moved inside, I thought he was not so good. I thought last year, the first half of the season, not so good. And then I thought the last 4 games of the year, he became a beast. And as I watched him the other day, this guy's motivated finally. I think he's got it through his head. This is where I'm supposed to be. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. You put him and Najee Harris on either side of Jake Slaughter, and it's those 3 guys and 3 guys straight up the gut who have to control that because, as Lauren just mentioned out and Ben has said too, you're not going to beat people just with a straight pass rush off the edge. You better have something. If you don't have something in the middle to draw the attention off those guys from the edge, it ain't going to work. And this is a guy, along with Najee Harris on the other side, Jake Slaughter. Those 3 guys up front at Florida are really, really good. Maybe the best 3 in the country.
All right. At last, each get 30 seconds. Practice what has to happen in practice for this football team to get better. Fans, you go first.
Avoid the big injuries. Dings and nicks are part of it in the summer camp. You're going to have it. Avoid the big injuries. If Florida avoids the big injuries, it's going to be a big year.
Yeah, I think somebody made a comment earlier. Florida could run the football if they had to. They just throw it 15 times a game, Lauren, and they got the studs and the offensive line to do it. But what has to happen in practice? Because you don't get a lot of contact. You don't really know what you're getting.
Compete. This was a team that admitted to themselves that they weren't practicing hard. They weren't playing hard in practice. They weren't preparing hard. Even if you're going thud or tap in, everybody's running to the football. Everybody's getting to where they're supposed to be, and everything is competitive. And if they stay that, I think they'll be in good shape.
Ben?
Know your role, accept your role, thrive in your role. The hardest thing about college is you got to know what your role is first. Then once you know what your role is, man, go out there and really accept that role, and then so you can thrive in it. Because I think the thing about it is every time I get a chance to talk to former teammates, right, they're always talking about the role they had. And the ones that accepted it, those are the ones that had the best shot of being really, really, listen, ain't going to be but so many stars, man. Everybody's not going, and we have a star position on defense. But you could be a star in different ways, because I'm going to keep saying this about a team like Florida. When you don't care about who's a star, boy, you're going to be hard to beat. It's easy, but we know that's DJ. We know that. And he's the quarterback. But when you have a role and you accept it, and you got a chance to thrive in it, that's when teams are good. When Stephen Harris said, on defense, you know how we was good, True? Because we knew where the ball couldn't go. Forget where it can. We know where it can. You know how better we are when we can go to a part of the football the way he said. So when Brandon Spikes really hit O'Shawn, he had nowhere else to go. When he hit him in the Georgia game, he ain't got nowhere else to go. He got to come see me. I'm just telling you that's become from. And listen, I'm a role player, and the best teams have the best role players. Be a role player and watch how far this team go.
And they got some good role players out there. All right, guys, great job, Ben. Looking forward to more information, friends, about the book coming up soon. Lauren, Tuesday night. It's a big one always with you. Low down. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it very much.
Appreciate you.
Can't be a good night without hearing the name No Show Marino.
All right, guys.
All right. See you guys.
All right, folks. Want to thank you for your participation in the show tonight, for watching and viewing. Thank our sponsors, particularly Freddie Wehbe and the folks at Spurs Grind Grill. And don't forget about that great Monday night charity thing. You want to take part in that. It's a good cause. So I'll wrap it up by saying, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We'll just go off the air cold tonight and say good night, folks.